Israel. Who am I?
An Israelite.
Who am I?
An Israelite.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant.
Shabbat Shalom, Israel. First, giving our praise to the Most High and the beloved Son, Yahweh bless. Today we come to you with another class, a wonderful class on this pagan day and this pagan custom, which we know is Christmas. As you see, as the title reads, Christmas, another strong delusion. Today, Israel, we're going to get the understanding of dealing with the deity of Christmas, another strong delusion. I know a lot of times you hear a lot of people speak and say, yeah, you know, we're going to put Christ back into Christmas. But you're going to learn today, Christ never dealt with Christmas.
That's right.
So to put him back in something that he was never a part of is a big problem. So as we read in Jeremiah, what we've been called to do as prophets of the Most High God, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man, the means of the Most High, we've been called to pretty much pull down the stronghold that's holding us in this captivity.
That's right.
So when you think about this, I want to show y'all something, because right now is the Lord's Sabbath day. It's pretty much a high holy day of the Most High. But man has created what they call holidays to try to counter the Most High holy days.
That's right.
And watch this. Give me that in Matthew. Let's go to Matthew chapter 7, and we're going to start at verse 13. We're going to sidebar a little bit before we get started. Just to share with you, the Bible speaks about the format of the world and how a lot of things that the world do. And there's a lot of people right now, the closer they get to actually honoring the Sabbath, because guess what? A lot of things closed today because of this wicked pagan day. But in reality, let's see what Christ say about this, because a lot of people today is celebrating Christmas thinking that it has something to do with the Son of God. Well, watch this. Read that right quick, God.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 13. Mm-hmm. Enter ye in at the straight gate.
So understand the Most High it is requiring us to enter ye in at the straight gate. Read.
For wide.
For what?
For wide is the gate. And broad is the way.
Is the way, because guess what? Everybody right now, they dealing with Christmas. Feliz Navidad. That's our Northern Kingdom brothers. They all have been pretty much programmed to celebrate Christmas, thinking this is something that God approved, thinking it's dealing with Christ. But read on.
That leadeth to destruction.
But this broad path is going to lead to destruction. Read on.
And many there be which go in thereat.
Now come on now, read on.
Because straight is the gate.
Because straight is the gate, read.
And narrow.
And what?
And narrow.
A lot of people is not going to choose this path, because guess what? When you start dealing with the holidays that man has made, a lot of these holidays pretty much triggers the flesh, when they go into sexual sins and things of that nature. It feels so good, it got to be right. But read 14 again.
Because straight is the gate.
Okay.
And narrow.
Guess what? When you're dealing with a narrow way, it's not, I'm a big brother, so I can speak on this. Anything narrow is very uncomfortable. But guess what? Narrow is going to guide you in the right direction. Narrow puts you in a position where you don't have that much room for error. But read on.
Is the way.
Is the what?
Is the way.
Now check it out. Read.
Which leadeth unto life.
This path lead unto life. What path we talking about? We're going to get the understanding. But watch this. I want you to read that last part. Read.
And few.
And what?
And few.
That's why a lot of people right now is by the Christmas tree. A lot of people right now is drinking that eggnog that rum in. A lot of people right now is thinking they're doing a good thing for their children. But what does the Bible say? And what?
And few there be that find it.
Few that's going to find this understanding of the truth. So as we continue to build today, let's go ahead and get some more understanding. Give me that St. John chapter 8, and we're going to start at verse 31. Christmas, another strong delusion. Woo-wee. We're going to put Christ back into Christmas. Come on, man. Break that out.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 31. Mm-hmm. Then said Yahweh to those Jews.
Understand, to those Jews, read.
Which believed on him.
We know now, believing is not about emotion. When they say that believe on him, when you believe, you're going to put forth action. So if the one that believed on him, read.
If ye continue in my word.
Notice what he say. If ye continue in my word. We know what? The word became flesh when Christ came.
Right.
So we understand he's talking about the oracles of the Most High. And you continue in the oracles of the Most High, read.
Then are ye my disciples indeed.
Read on.
And ye shall know the truth.
This is what we have never been taught. After we got off from slave ship, we have never been taught the truth. We have not been taught the biblical truth of the Bible. Well, what did Christ say?
And ye shall know the truth. And the truth shall make you free.
And this Bible, the truth, the oracles of the Most High is going to give us that understanding that we've been seeking for, that comfort that we've been seeking for. So when you think about these things, I want y'all to realize this. Give me Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 5. Notice what Christ said. If you continue in my word, because guess what? Did Christ bring his own word? He brought the words, the oracles that the Father gave him to bring.
That's right.
So this is what we have to realize. Watch this. Give it in Proverbs. Dealing with the Most High God's word. Read that right quick.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 5. Every word of God is pure.
This is what we have to embrace. Every word. When you come into the oracle of the power, he say, no, read that again. He say some words.
Every word of God is pure.
Okay, understand that. Read on.
He is a shield.
He's a what?
He is a shield.
Read.
Unto them that put their trust in him.
This is what you have to ask yourself. When you think about it, in Christianity, I always go to this precept a lot. Study to show our self-approval. Are we truly studying the oracles of the power? And if we're doing that, this is what you got to be honest with yourself. If you study and you celebrating Christmas, you're not studying.
That's right.
You're not rightfully dividing the word of truth. Because when you read on, go ahead.
Add thou not.
Do what?
Add thou not.
Read.
Unto his word.
So when you think about the oracles of the Most High God, where in the Bible is Christmas? What does it say again?
Add thou not unto his word.
Somewhere Christmas been added to his word, because guess what? When you go to these mega churches, they got a 30-foot tree in the church. Mm-hmm. When you go to these mega churches, they tell you Christ's birthday is December 25th. We're going to cover all the things, because the Bible says prove all things. But read on.
Lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar.
This was happening today. As we wake up to the biblical understanding, a lot of these pastors are going to be running in the latter days now. A lot of these pastors are going to be hiding, because guess what? The Most High God is pouring his spirit upon his chosen people. Because when you think about this, I want y'all to understand this. When it say add not to his word. When you think about this, and I'm going into the mindset, let's go into Acts chapter 11. We're going to start at verse 26. When you think about, and I'm going to say it like this, American Christian, because when you really understand to be a Christian is to follow Christ. Christ followed what? The commandments of his heavenly Father. That's right. So when you think about it, that's why I say, when you're dealing with American Christians, which I go into the element of Christianity, which is nowhere dealing with this Bible, this is what you have to realize. Acts 11 and 26. When the disciples was following after the teaching of Christ, this is where they picked up that name. And I'm going to show you. Go ahead and read that right quick.
The book of Acts, chapter 11, verse 26. Mm-hmm. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year, They assembled themselves with the church.
Understand the church is the 12 tribes of Israel. So understand this. They assembled themselves with the church, read.
And taught.
And did what?
And taught.
Understand. They was getting built up. The understanding of what Christ was teaching them. The understanding what the prophets and apostles was teaching at that time, read.
Much people. And the disciples.
And the who?
And the disciples.
Read.
Were called Christians.
And they was called what?
Were called Christians.
Read.
First in Antioch.
So understand, this was actually a mockery at the time. And they was calling them Christians because guess what? They kept the teaching of Christ. So when they was called Christians, I want y'all to realize the element of what the disciples, apostles was doing. They was not adding to the word. They was not taking away from the word. They was teaching it precept upon precept, line upon line. And when you have that understanding, give me Jeremiah 10 and verse 16 right quick. So the true Christians, the true church is the 12 tribes of Israel. God chose the people. And I'm going to show you why. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 16. Good.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
The portion of Jacob is not like them.
Notice what the Bible is addressing. The portion of Jacob, we descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said the portion, the nation of people that come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is what?
It's not like them.
Come on. We totally different from all of them. When you think about it, even back in Big Mama days and all that in the country, we was always considered to be spiritual people. We were always considered to be more spiritual than any other nation. And I'm sure with this with you. When the other nations fall off and go into hardship, what part of town do they come to? I'm going to ask y'all this. Y'all see a lot of Esau homeless people coming to Oak Cliff, right? Why are they doing it? Because they know, regardless of what they say about us, we always been the more spiritual people of our own nation. Think about that. When we go through hardship, we don't go to them. 90% of the time, they don't want to put us in hardship. But guess what? They come to us.
That's right.
This is what the Bible is speaking about. Read that again out.
The portion of Jacob is not like them.
Okay.
For he is the former of all things.
Okay.
And
Israel, read.
Is the rod of his inheritance.
Uh-huh.
The Lord of hosts is his name.
Y'all, the so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American, we not understanding us being the form of the 12 tribes of Israel. What is our inheritance? Give me that in Sirach 24 and 23. Because when you read this in Jeremiah, and in Christianity, they just read right through it. And it tells us, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. We have to realize, what is our inheritance? Is it our good looks? Is it that we more athletic than other nations? Is it that we age better than any other nation? Watch this. Let's find out what is our inheritance. Because guess what? You didn't learn this in Christianity. They didn't teach you your inheritance when you got off from slave ships. But watch this. Read that right quick, God. 24:23.
The book of Sirach, chapter 24, verse 23.
This is what I want y'all to realize. They say Jacob not like the others. Let's see why. Read.
All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High God.
Okay.
Even the law.
Even the what?
Even the law.
Read.
Which Moses commanded for inheritance.
Come on now. This is what we have to realize. What separated us from the other nation, we the only nation that was given the oracles of the Most High God. So read on.
Unto the congregations of Jacob.
So now understanding this is what we have to realize. As we realize the understanding, give me 2 Ezra chapter 3 and verse 35. Because knowing that the oracles, this Bible, no matter what it say, contrary to popular belief, this Bible is not universal.
That's right.
This Bible was given to the 12 tribes of Israel. Other nations, when did they get our Bible? When we went into captivity. This Bible do not benefit them at all. And I share this with everybody. The Most High God is not waiting on the Edomites to keep the commandments. He's not waiting on Moab to keep the commandments. Because guess what? He didn't give the commandments to the mother nation. He's waiting on you so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American to keep the commandments. Now watch this. Start at verse 35, because I want to give you the understanding with dealing with the Bible saying, we all have failed short of the glory. We all have went into sin and so forth. I want you to see what the Bible say about this. Watch this. Read there right with God.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 3, verse 35.
Uh-huh.
Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight?
So understand, as we continue to build and get this understanding, the Bible tells us, if we say we have not sinned, we lie to ourselves. So read on.
Or what people have so kept the commandments.
So now check it out. The Bible addresses in the process of all the wickedness that's going on in this world, what people have so kept the commandments of God. Let's see. Verse 36.
Verse 36. Thou shalt find that Israel.
That who?
That Israel.
Out of all the nations, that who?
Israel.
Read.
By name had kept thy precepts.
Even when we was going off, we always had a portion of our people keeping the commandments of the Most High God. Now, it might wasn't enough to keep us from going into captivity. It wasn't enough to get us to get back on the right path. But we always had a portion of our people keeping the commandments. So read 36 again all the way through.
Thou shalt find that Israel by name had kept thy thy precepts.
Okay.
But not the heathen.
The heathen have never kept the commandments of the Most High God. This will, and when I say heathen, we're talking about the other nations. They have never kept the oracles of the power. They're not built like that. They're not what they say. They built from a different cloth. The commandments are only going to work through us. Because guess what? The other nation, the first element of keeping the commandments, they got to admit that we the Israelites. And they're not willing to do that. So when you think about this, I'm sharing the format with you of us giving the oracles of the power, of us operating in the spirit of the Most High God. I got to show you dealing with Christmas, dealing with the format of Christmas. Give me Amos 5 and 10 right quick. This is why when you think about prosperity preaching, when you think about the pastors and everything of our nation, this is what you got to analyze yourself. How? Because the Bible says the servant is not greater than the master. When Christ came on this earth, he was teaching and preaching, right? They killed him. They didn't like him. They hated him, right? But now you got celebrity pastors and everybody loves, churches packed, people paying for them to come, to come teach and all that. What's going on? Watch this. Where we at?
The book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 10.
Because guess what? These pastors not doing this. Watch this. Read that right now.
They hated him.
They do what?
They hate him.
Read.
That rebuke it.
Rebuke it goes into correction. When you look at the churches now, what a correction at? Is there any correction? And we're going to show you. So the Bible, when the prophets was on the scene, the nation was bothered by the prophet. Because guess what? The prophet was exposing their sins. The prophet was pretty much rebuking. Read.
That rebuking in the gate.
In the gate. Read.
And they abhor him.
They hate him. Read.
That speaketh.
Okay.
Uprightly.
This is what was going on. When we was in rulership, when we had the understanding of who we are, it was a problem on the earth from the other nations. They did not like us because guess what? We kept the oracles of the power. We didn't add to, we didn't take away from. Now, going into this understanding, give me Revelation chapter 11 And we'll start at verse 8. The prophets was a problem. So when you think about prosperity preaching, when you think about mega churches now, if Christ say the servant not greater than the master, what's going on? We have to examine how, if they say they're doing the teaching of Christ, but they love and the world hated Christ, we got to examine that situation. Now watch this. Read the record, God.
The book of Revelations, chapter 11, verse 8.
Because this is what we have to realize. Read.
And their dead bodies.
As we went into captivity, and we went into hardship, it's two elements that we realize is dead. You have physically dead and you have a spiritually dead. When you read that again up.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
That great city is America today, the daughter of Babylon. Whose dead body lying in the streets? Who's spiritually dead? What nation of people don't know their nationality? What nation of people don't know their native tongue? That's right. You so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native American. So, like I said, we walking around in the neighborhood, but we spiritually dead because we don't know who we are. Read on.
Which is
spiritually, read,
is called Sodom and Egypt.
Understand, we looking at spiritual Egypt right now in America. Egypt means bondage. When you look at Sodom, what nation, what country has made same-sex marriage legal that goes against the organs of the Most High God? So right now, spiritually, we're back in Sodom and Egypt again. Read on.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Read on.
And they of the people and the kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies.
Notice what the other nations is seeing when they come to the hood. They seeing that we are astonishment. We got $90,000 SUVs in front of $25,000 houses. Sure. That's leaning to the side. So when they looking at us, we are astonishment to them. Read on.
3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
Now this is going to give you the understanding for 350 years, being in bondage, being in captivity, when they was killing us and slaughtering us, when we give them a proper burial, they were just throwing us in the ditch. You go down to Florida, they were feeding us to alligators. They were using our babies for alligator bait. So it said, that last part, what did it say? And suffer their bodies to be put, read that again.
And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
What nation of people lines over this curse? Now read on.
And they that dwell upon the earth.
Notice what it says. And they that dwell upon the earth, the other nations, read.
Shall rejoice.
Shall do what?
Shall rejoice.
When we set out a rulership, they rejoice. Read.
Over them and make merry.
And they made what?
And make merry.
I'm getting into the understanding of Merry Christmas. Because what it said, and made merry. Guess what? In our captivity, you getting Christmas gifts and putting them up under the tree. But guess what? When we was in bondage, we was the gift that was given passed from other nations to the other nations. But read on.
And shall send gifts.
And send what?
And shall send gifts.
Come on now.
One to another.
Why did they do this? We're about to tell you why they did this. Read.
Because these two prophets.
These two prophets we know is the southern and the northern kingdom. What did they do? Read.
Tormented.
They did what?
Tormented.
Read.
Them that dwelt on the earth.
Because guess what? We brought out the truth of the Bible. Having a spiritual understanding of what's going on in this captivity. Having a spiritual understanding in this wicked kingdom. Now go into the understanding. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 28. This is what we have to realize. As we will continue to build in the spirit of the Most High God, I think King David said it best. He said through our precept, he became wiser than his enemy. He didn't say because he worked out, he trained. He said through the understanding of the organs of the Most High God. the obedience of listening to the Father, he became wiser than his enemy. I'm going to show you something. Read that right quick, God.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, verse 28. Observe,
Okay.
and hear all these words,
Okay.
which I command thee, that it may go well with thee.
So this is what we should be doing. Read on.
And with thy children after thee, forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Now this is coming out of our first captivity, coming out of Egypt. You never was taught this over here, but guess what? We was enslaved by Pharaoh. This is Moses teaching us and telling us what the Father told us to do. Read on.
When thou doest that which is good and right in the sight of the Lord thy God. When the Lord thy God shall cut off the nations from before thee, whether thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them, and dwellest in their land.
Understand, when we was keeping the commandments, the Most High God was fighting for us. He was protecting us. So as we conquer land and gain more land, the Most High God was telling us, he was going to be with us as long as we do good, which we know what is good now is the commandments of the Most High. But read on. Now, in the process of dealing with these other nations and dealing with their land, this is what he said too. Read that right, God.
Take heed.
Take what?
Take heed to thyself that thou be not snared by following them. After that, they be destroyed.
Come on now.
From before thee. And that thou inquire not. That thou inquire not after their gods. Saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise.
This is the snare. This was written in Deuteronomy. It was telling us that we continue to build in the spirit and keep the commandments of the Most High God. When we conquer land, we didn't supposed to inquire about their gods. We didn't supposed to be pretty much amazed about how they was operating with their gods. Because read on.
Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God.
Let's see why.
For every abomination.
For every abomination, read.
To the Lord which he hated. Have they done unto their gods.
Come on now. Read on.
For even their sons and their daughters they have burnt in the fire to their gods. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto.
Okay, there we go again. Thou shalt not add, read.
Nor diminish from it.
So when you think about this, when you think about what the Most High God was telling Moses to tell us as a nation, we should not be adding or taking away from. When you think about this, it goes into the format of, give me that in Baruch chapter 4, and we're going to start at verse 1. Because in reality, this is our book of wisdom. We come over here now, and I want to pull one more precept before we get there. Proverbs, what I'm thinking, 3:31. Because when you think about Israel, you got there right quick. Read that right quick.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31.
Straight out the Bible, read.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
The biggest thing with you so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American, you don't know who your oppressor is. You think your oppressor is us. To be an oppressor, you have to be in rulership. Your brother that stay next door to you, he can bother you, but he can't oppress you. If we cut your water off, you go back out there and cut it right back on. We don't own no banks. We don't own no mortgage company. So when the Bible say do what?
Envy thou not the oppressor.
We know who our oppressor is. The same people that put us on them slave ships. So it say envy them not, read.
And choose none of his ways.
Now, my thing is when Christianity read this precept, what are they thinking about? The Bible say choose what?
And choose none
Now, some of their ways.
And choose none
Read.
of his ways.
See, that's why we always say Christianity is a hell of a drug. When you read that, how can you think anything? And did I add anything to that? It's plain and simple. But we've been bamboozled over here because guess what? We love everybody more than we love ourselves. We don't question nothing. So when you think about that, then let's go ahead and go into Baruch. Bring it out, 4:1.
The book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God.
When you come into this Bible, Israel, you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, this is the book that was only given to us. And it's the commandments of the Most High. Yah, read on.
And the law.
And the what?
And the law.
Read.
That endureth forever.
Okay.
All they that keep it shall come to life.
This is what we're praying for. This is what we're doing as we continue to put our classes, continue to go to the street corner, trying to bring life back to our people. Read on.
But such as leave it shall die.
We're spiritually dead right now. Some of our people just waiting on death certificate. Now watch what it say, verse 2.
Turn thee, O Jacob.
No, the whole world.
Turn thee, O Jacob.
Read.
And take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof.
Come on now.
That thou mayest be illuminated.
Come on now.
Give not thine honor to Give not thine honor to another.
Because guess what? When we go into understanding that God loves everybody and everybody going to be saved, that's not what the Bible says. What did he say again? Read verse 3.
Give not thine honor to another.
Come on now.
Nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation.
Guess what, man? When you read in the Bible, it speaks about Edom. Edom is the only nation that have no room for repentance. So when you think about it, you could give honor and try to bring the other nations in, but the Most High God say, what is written can't be broken. So when you think about it, this is what we have to realize as we continue to build. Read verse 4.
Verse 4. O Israel.
Okay.
Happy are we.
Why are we happy? We are pretty much second-class citizens. We being oppressed. We still in captivity, but we still should be happy because let's see why. Read.
For things that are pleasing,
come on now,
to God are made known unto us.
We got this Bible. The question is, can we come back to it? Can we forsake the rudiments of the world and come back to it? Read on.
Be of good cheer.
Read.
My people, the memorial of Israel.
The memorial of Israel. Now we're going to get into some understanding right now, Israel. Give me that in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And we're going to start at verse 3. Because when you think about all these pagan days that we're dealing with now, if the men of the Most High, the nation that was given the oracles of the Most High, you have to ask yourself, what happened? Because right now, the heathen is pretty much taking over. Everything that we can think about now is a strong delusion to our mind because something happened to us. And the Bible tells us, and I always tell people all the time, to recover, you got to know what happened. Sometimes it's like this. If you up under a curse and you don't know you up under a curse, how you going to get up out the curse? Come on now. Now watch this. Read that right quick, God.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you.
Come on now.
By any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
This is the fall. What is talking about the falling away? The chosen seed of Israel. God chose the people. We went into captivity. That's right. We broke the commandments of the Most High God. We the only nation that could teach the oracles of the Heavenly Father, because we was the only nation given the oracles of the Heavenly Father. So that falling away is captivity. Read on.
And that man of sin.
That man of who?
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition,
which we know as the so-called white man, which his biblical name is Esau, the man of sin, the son of perdition. Read.
who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called
So
God.
when you go to when you go to these churches, and I share this with you, and when you think about Esau, I'm gonna call him by his biblical name. He exalted himself. Read that again out.
Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God.
Come on now. Read on.
Or that is worship.
Okay.
So that he
Read.
as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself.
Here we go.
That
doing what?
Showing himself that he is God.
Israel, I'm gonna show y'all this picture, man. I hope nobody don't get emotional. They got him out there. This is what we're talking about. When you look at this image, you're looking at white supremacy.
That's right.
When you look at this image, and they show them all out there, no shoes on, and a lot of people get emotional about this. But this is not Christ.
That's right.
This is what the heathen did. Showing himself as God. Read on.
Remember ye not.
This is what we have to realize. Read.
That when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
Because right now it's being revealed. Now I know now, as my brothers, y'all know they're not Christ, right? You know that now. But at one point, we say, you would have pulled this off a Big Mama dresser, it'd have been a fight in the house. You weren't going to be at the next family reunion. So we know now that this is not Christ. But at one point, this is what we was praying to.
That's right.
And then when we got a little nervous and confused, they hit us with color don't matter. He all colors. He ever what color you want him to be. But it's the time is now. We in the latter days. We know now the man of perdition is being exposed. But read on.
For the mystery of iniquity,
doth
already work.
Understand when they say the mystery of iniquity goes into sin. That means what I was talking about the brother, with y'all earlier. I call it chocolate covered sin. Put you in a position where because right now we're in spiritual warfare, the art of war is deception. If they could have us sinning without us knowing we're sinning, we'll never get out of sin. So read that verse again, verse 7.
Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Come on now.
Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
Come on now.
And then shall the wicked be revealed.
This is where we at right now. Read on.
Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
Come on now.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Come on.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
Working of who?
The working of Satan.
Read on.
With all power and signs and lying wonders.
Notice what they say, and lying wonders. He's going to put you in a perception like right now all people think they doing the right thing. Oh, man. Oh, happy birthday, Jesus. Oh, we just love you so much. They really think they doing a righteous thing in the sight of the Most High God with this deity of Christmas. But read on.
And with all deceivableness
come on now.
Of unrighteousness and them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth.
This Bible. They say study and show thyself approval. I tell people all the time, if it's not in the Bible, why you celebrate? If it's not, if your pastor can't prove to you that Easter is in the Bible, and it's in there, but it's not in there to celebrate, as a Babylonian deity as well. So when you look at these things, if it's not of the Most High God, why are you doing it? Well, watch this. We say, because they receive not the love of the truth. Read on.
That they might be saved.
Now watch this. This is 2/3 of all people. They not gonna come, like I was telling the brother a while ago, they're not gonna come out this world. They not, man, oh man, I just bought this white Christmas tree. I paid $300 for it. I'm not supposed to get rid of it. Because they love this world. But watch it, read on. Verse 11.
Verse 11. For this cause,
Notice what the Bible say, read.
God shall send them strong delusion.
Come on now.
And that they should believe a lie.
Feliz Navidad. This is what's going on today. Right now, somebody sitting by the Christmas tree right now. We're going to break that down in a minute. That is not of the Father. Read on.
Verse 12. That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure.
But had what?
But had pleasure.
Read.
In unrighteousness.
People right now, they can't let go of Christmas. They can't let go of birthdays. They call it Earth Day now. Born Day now. But the eyes of the Lord is upon all people. So when you think about these things, let's go into, I'm gonna try to make this swift as I can. Give me Revelation chapter 12 and verse 9. I gotta explain the element of the devil. Somebody said the devil lazy, they lied. Say, he's a cold work of art. And if you ain't on top of your game, you shall truly be deceived. Watch this. Read that right quick, guys.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth.
Because devil just means you are a deceiver. Satan means the adversary of God. So when he talking about this devil that deceiving, that's who he deceiving. Read.
The whole world.
Come on now.
He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Come on now. So the devil not only was cast out, he got co-workers with him. He said, and his angels. Now I want to give y'all the understanding of this as we continue to build through the Spirit. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 13. Dealing with the devil. And I'm going to just say, as we know, Esau, when you think about the so-called white man, he's Jewish, he's the Egyptian. Esau done played every character in the Bible except him. This is what you got to think about. He's Moses. I'm talking about who? Come on now. He's the Egyptians. Come on, man. This is the order of the devil, deception. Now I'm about to show you something. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13.
The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers.
Deceitful workers, read.
Transforming.
Doing what?
Transforming.
Read.
Themselves into the apostles.
Come on now.
Of Christ.
Okay.
And no marvel.
And no marvel, read.
For Satan himself is transformed.
Hold on. Satan himself is what?
Is transformed.
Read.
Into an angel of light.
This is the element of what we're looking at today. You got to think about the art of war. And everybody, when you think about Christianity right now, when it goes into a strong delusion, Christianity sitting in church right now with a 30-foot Christmas tree, still thinking they waiting on the strong delusion, not knowing they living it right now. Because you got to think about it. Satan's headquarters is in these churches. And we don't even know it. So when he read on, watch this. Read 14 again.
Verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Come on now.
Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers.
If his what?
If his ministers
read.
Also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness,
Uh-huh.
whose end shall be according to their works.
Because right now, you probably thinking like, man, this man going in this Bible talking about Christmas, but my pastor never said nothing wrong with Christmas. My pastor never said nothing about Christmas, but this man keep talking bad about Christmas. Watch this. Give me that. I'm going to show you something. Give me Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8. Israel, you need to do something that we've never done before. And I tell people all the time, you can break down every religion with 2 words. Prove it. We don't never, Joe, I ain't never seen Joe, I don't even think Joe Austin do Q&A, dude. You don't, man, I ask him now. You gonna get escorted up out of there.
You don't even have a Bible in it.
I'm telling you. So when you think about these things, but when the prophets come back, they try to drill us in every form of fashion. But I'm going to show you what the Bible is addressing. Read that right quick, God.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8.
Uh-huh.
Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit.
Because when you think about what's going on, dealing with Christmas, this is philosophy and vain deceit. Read.
After the tradition of men.
Of who?
After the tradition of men.
Read.
After the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So just what I want to share with y'all. Dealing with the tradition of man. Go ahead and go to that first letter. We want to deal with this. Dealing with Christmas, you have to understand the history of a Roman emperor named Constantine. Read that first point out.
Constantine the First was a Roman emperor who ruled early in the 4th century. He was the first Christian emperor and saw the empire begin to become a Christian state.
Now understand, this is when Rome was in rulership, and this is where when they was fighting against the Israelites. This is where the transition of Christian and Christianity was coming about, dealing with Constantine. But read on with Constantine, because dealing with Constantine, read the next paragraph.
Constantine never directly outlawed paganism.
So as him being a Roman ruler, you got to think about it. Even in this daughter of Babylon now, what we dealing with, we dealing with the same format. Go along and get along. America is not a country. America is a business. That's right. And the thing is, they going to do what make the business run best. So read that again out. Let's read that with them.
Constantine never directly outlawed paganism.
Come on now.
In the words of an early edict, he decreed that polythesis, Polytheus could celebrate the rites of an outmoded illusion, so long as they did not force Christians to join them.
This is that element of what Constantine was doing. He was merging paganism with pretty much, at that time, they were calling it Judaism, but he was merging the oracles of the Most High with paganism. Read on.
In addition, there are accounts that indicate Constantine remained somewhat tolerant of the pagans.
Go along to get along. Now, dealing with paganism, I want you to read that definition for right quick.
Paganism is a term first used in the 4th century by early Christians for people in the Roman Empire.
For people in the who?
In the Roman Empire.
So understand, when we was actually, all people upholding the oracles of the Most High God, when we was calling people paganism, we was dealing with the Romans. Who are the Romans today? You know exactly. But read on.
Who practice?
Who did what?
Who practice polytheism.
Come on now.
Or ethnic religions other than Judaism. Early Christians often use the term to refer to non-Christians who worship multiple deities.
So you were dealing with paganism. You was dealing with multiple deities. And you wasn't following the oracles at all. Now, that being said, Israel, this is what I want us to realize. Why is Christmas going on how it's going on? When you think about it, we know where the understanding, and we're going to go more into the history. Give me Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 26. Because what I just said before, America is not a country, it's a business. And dealing with the business, you know how Israel get down. Say, we'll sell out our grandma when we can get a Cadillac with some leather seats. So when you think about this, because you go into these mega churches and you sit back and you looking at the pastor and he got this big tree in the building and everything. Why is he operating how he operating? And he's supposed to be a man of the Most High. But guess what? Watch this. Read that right, we got Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 26.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 5, verse 26. For among my people,
dealing with our people now, that's promoting this pagan deity, read,
are found wicked men.
Come on now, because guess what? When you think about Mother's Day, when you think about Easter, when you think about Christmas, oh man, money be good in the church house, don't it? The whole family come to church on them type of festivities. Pastor ain't trying to mess up that collection plate. So he said, read that again out. From among what?
From my people are found wicked men. They lay wait.
Okay.
As he that setteth snares.
Okay.
They set a trap.
They said a what?
They set a trap.
Come on now.
They catch men.
They do what?
They catch men.
I never forget. I ain't gonna name this church, but they had a 30-foot tree. I promise you. I say people came to church early just to take a picture in front of that big old tree. Come on, man. They catch men. Read on.
As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit.
Come on now.
Therefore, they are become great and waxen rich.
This is why people promote these pagan deities. It's money in it. They're not of the Father. But this is why it's going on so long, because it's money in it. Now, this is what we're going to go into now. Give me Ecclesiastes chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 9. Because now we're going to get into the understanding. There's nothing new up under the sun. And this is a topic, Israel, where a lot of camps cover this every year. And our job is not to beat you up, but to wake you up.
That's right.
We're not trying to turn you down. We're trying to build you up to the understanding of something that you dealing with something higher than you ever could imagine. So watch this. Read this right quick, guys.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that had been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done.
Okay.
And there is no new thing under the sun.
Notice this. There is no new thing up under the sun. So when you think about this, read on.
Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which was before us.
Because I know sometimes all people think, oh man, you know, they just start doing Christmas over in America. But this go further back than America. Watch this. Read on. Verse 11.
Verse 11. There is no remembrance of former things.
This is why it's so important that we come back to this Bible. There is no remembrance of former things. Read on.
Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come. With those that shall come after.
So now let's get into some of this history now. Go ahead and get that dealing with December the 25th. Now notice this, Israel. There's no new thing up under the sun. Watch this. Go ahead and read out. Because December 25th, they say that's Christ's birthday, right?
The second letter, December 25th, commonly known as Christmas Day, is known around the world as the birthday of Jesus Christ. Sadly, this is not the case. And the Bible does not actually mention anywhere about Jesus being born during December. But you've probably already heard this argument many times before, right? Besides, whether he was born in the summer or fall, surely the motive is right and God isn't fussed about specifics. Right? Wrong. Because besides the fact that the origins of Christmas derive from a German pagan tradition, many Christians don't know whose birthday they are actually celebrating on December 25th. And just how angry God is when we partake in the celebration of this blasphemous day.
Come on now.
Nimrod.
Who?
Nimrod.
Read.
The Lord of Christmas. The December the 25th marked the day of Nimrod, not Jesus. Tammuz, often confused as baby Jesus,
Come on now.
was born of two pagan gods. Nimrod, a sun god, and the moon goddess of ancient Babylon, the queen of heaven. Mother and child worship were common pagan practices during the time, and so Tammuz and the Queen of Heaven are still worshipped today in many religions under many different names. For example, in Roman Catholicism, the statue of the Virgin Mary is actually not Mary, but the Queen of Heaven. And the so-called baby Jesus in a manger is actually Tammuz. In short, the December 25th was a day that commemorated the worship of the sun, Satan,
Come on now.
as opposed to the true living God of the Bible. This rebellion was demonstrated through a vast number of pagan customs, which are still carried out today during the festive Christmas period.
Come on now. Give me Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 15. This is what we talking about, Israel. Big Mama bringing that tree in, Grandma, whoever bringing that tree in your house, you don't understand. You did it with a satanic deity. And a lot of time I see the news, people getting killed, people getting locked up, and guess what Big Mama say? He ain't gonna be able to come home for Christmas. He ain't gonna be able to celebrate Christmas with his children. Come on, celebrating Christmas got him in that situation. Watch this. The element of war deception. Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 15. Watch this.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel.
Let's make sure we get this understood. Woe means destruction. So the Most High, through the prophet Isaiah, is saying destruction. Read that again out.
Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel.
Understand, serving this satanic deity, but making it, like I said, giving you a Santa Claus, giving you a Christmas tree all lit up and all that. You pretty much putting sugar on the downhill. So he say, destruction unto them that seek deep to hide their what?
To hide their counsel.
Come on now, read on.
From the Lord, and their works are in the dark.
Come on now.
And they say, who sent us?
Because when you think about this, How are we able to see this now? Because guess what? We're coming out of sin. We're coming back to the oracles of the Most High God. He's showing us these things. But the other nations and the workers of iniquity, they saying, who see us? Y'all ain't gonna catch shit. Because guess what? This been going on hundreds of years. We just now analyzing this. Read on.
And who knoweth us?
And who knows us? This is what we have to understand, Israel. The element of the art of war is deception. Give me John chapter 10 and verse 10. When Christ was with us, he shared these things with us. Did our people hearken to his words? That is the question. Because dealing with the understanding of what a thief do. Watch this. Read this right quick, guys.
The book of John, chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal,
Okay.
and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly.
And this is Yahweh. This is Christ speaking. We have to realize that everything that's in this captivity is set up for a snare for us. Only way we're going to avoid the snare, we got to come back to the biblical truth of the Bible. And I'm going to show you what it said about the good shepherd. Jump up to verse 10 and 1. Right? Watch this.
Verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door.
Hold on. He that entered not by the what?
By the door.
So when you think about Santa Claus, how Santa Claus entered into the house, right? He coming down that chimney, right? Let's see what the Bible says about that. Read that again up.
He that entereth not by the door,
okay,
into the sheepfold,
okay,
but climbeth up some other way.
Hold up, but climb. How you got to get up on the chimney?
But climbeth up some other way.
Okay.
The same is a thief.
He's a what?
The same is a thief.
Read.
And a robber.
You didn't know that was in the Bible. But y'all still waiting on Santa to come down the chimney. But read verse 2.
Verse 2. But he that entereth in by the door.
By the what?
By the door.
Come on now. Read.
Is the shepherd.
Is the who?
Is the shepherd.
Read.
Of the sheep.
This is what we have to understand. Keep waiting on that man to come down that chimney you want to. I'm going to show y'all something. Dealing with Nimrod. Now let's go ahead. We know Nimrod, when you go into the Bible, Nimrod's name means pretty much that he was a rebel of the Most High. Nimrod was actually a hunter of souls. Well, in this captivity, what is the whole purpose of this, what they call Babylon? Babylon is confusion. So when you think about these things, I'm going to show you something. Dealing with, our people think this is Christ's birthday. I'm going to show you. Give me Luke chapter 2 and verse 40. Because nowhere in the Bible it say Christ's birthday was December 25th. Now, we do have scriptures that justify when you're dealing with being in a manger, having a child out in the winter at that point of time was not logical to do. So we do understand this. Christ's birthday was not, his day of birth was not in December, was not in the wintertime. And we're going to show you. Watch this. Read it right, we got it.
The book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 40. And the child grew.
Okay.
And waxed strong in spirit, filled with wisdom.
Filled with wisdom, read.
And the grace of God was upon him.
Okay, talking about Christ, Frito.
Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover.
Now know that the feast of the Passover is between March and April. This is going into the springtime. So watch this. He say, read on.
And when he was 12.
And when he was what?
And when he was 12
read.
Years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast.
Knowing that he turned 12 around the Passover, Christ was born between pretty much, like I say, March and April. We don't know the exact date, but it was definitely not December 25th. Now, knowing that, will Christ want us to celebrate his born day? That is the next question, Israel. You have to ask yourself. Because we talking about happy birthday, Jesus. We love you, Jesus. Out of all things Christ said, would he want you to celebrate birthdays? You got that for me? I want you to understand this element of this. We doing something, and what he say, Father, forgive them because they know not what they do. Dealing with birthdays, Christ, knowing that he walked in the spirit, would not be telling you to remember his birthday. Out of all the things he taught us, he would not be telling us to remember his birthday. And this is why. Watch this. Read that right, we got.
The highest of all holidays in the satanic religion is the date of one's own birthday.
So in the satanic Bible, the highest day, the highest pretty much pagan day is the day of one's birth. Read on, Doc.
This is in direct contradiction to the holy of holy days of other religions.
Come on now.
Which defy a particular God who has been created in an anthropomorphic form of their own image, thereby showing that the ego is not really buried.
Come on now.
The Satanist feels.
Notice what it say. The Satanist feel. Read.
Why not really be honest? And if you are going to create a God in your image, why not create the God as yourself?
Come on now. Jeremiah chapter 20 and verse 14. The prophet understood this. And this just goes precept upon precept, line upon line. Knowing that Christ was without sin, why would he be celebrating his birthday? Why would he want us to celebrate his birthday? Bring that out of Jeremiah. Jeremiah spoke on this. Read that out.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 20, verse 14. Cursed be the day wherein I was born.
This is the prophet Jeremiah. He said, cursed be what?
Cursed be the day wherein I was born. Let not the day wherein my mother bare me be blessed.
Read on.
Cursed be the man who brought tidings to my father, saying,
come on now.
A man child is born unto thee.
Go and give me Job chapter 3 and verse 1. Job said the same thing. Understand, as the prophet was showing the element of being righteous toward the Most High, celebrating your birthday goes into idolatry.
That's right.
It goes into self-worship. It goes to pretty much honoring yourself above the Most High, above, you know what I'm saying, the will of the Father. Watch this. Read that right, we got.
The book of Job, chapter 3, verse 1. After this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day.
And he did what?
And cursed his day.
So even Job, and we know Job was perfect, he cursed his day. Read.
And Job spake and said, let the day perish.
Let the day what?
Let the day perish.
Now I'm going to turn up.
Let the day perish wherein I was born.
Wow, read on.
And the night in which it was said, there is a man child conceived. Let that day be darkness.
Hold on, he didn't say that on his B-day, did he?
Let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above. Neither let the light shine upon it.
Job understood the element of being obedient to the Most High. Job understood the element of not being caught up in pride and in idolatry. So when you look at these things, this is what our forefathers understood. Give me Sirach chapter 41 and verse 9. When you are awakened to the understanding of who you are, do it even make sense to celebrate your day of birth when you were born into captivity? Do it even make sense to celebrate being a slave in the land of your captivity? But you over here trying to turn up. Come on, man. Watch this. The Bible said, with all thy getting, get understanding. This is why these prophets wasn't operating in that spirit of idolatry, celebrating their birthdays. Sirach 41, we're going to start at verse 9.
The book of Sirach, chapter 41, verse 9. And if ye be born,
Read.
ye shall be born to a curse.
To a what?
To a curse.
See, when you realize that in reality, Israel, this is our last captivity, why are you trying to celebrate your birthday? When you realize we've been taught to disobey the same God that put us in this condition, why are you going to turn up on a pagan deity? Read that again, up.
And if ye be born, ye shall be a curse.
Come on now.
Shocking. If ye be born, ye shall be born to a curse. And if ye die,
and if you die, read.
A curse.
A what?
A curse
read.
Shall be your portion.
Come on now, verse 10.
Verse 10. All that are of the earth shall turn to the earth again. So the ungodly shall go from a curse.
We're going to go, if we don't come back to the Most High God, we're going to go from a curse, read,
to destruction.
Come on, man. And that's their second death. This is what Israel have to realize. So when you think about these things, this is what the prophets understood. They understood the oracles of the power. Nah, bro, nah, dismiss me with that born day. Dismiss me with that earth day.
That's right.
Come on, man. Because when you think about it, when you start trying to rename it, give me Job 14 and 40. No, 14 and 4 right quick. And I'm going to tell you like this. You can play semantics with man, but you can't play semantics with the Most High.
That's right.
Tell them you celebrate Earth Day. No, I don't do that. I know birthday week. I'm going to do Earth Day. Or say, oh, well, I was just, churching in the Christmas tree, We were teaching about the Christ and all that. Okay.
That's right.
Christ was never in Christian. But watch this. Read that right quick.
The book of Job, chapter 14, verse 4. Who can bring a clean thing?
Notice what Job said. Who can bring a clean thing, read?
Out of an unclean.
Come on now.
Not one.
No. He said what?
Not one.
It can't be done. It cannot be done. But Israel continue to try to do it. That's why they say, when you think about it, let's move forward. All people don't read. We're going to go to Jeremiah chapter 10, and we're going to read 1 down to 5. Now, I'm about to show you something. Somebody today is going to watch this class and still going to pack that Christmas tree back up for next year. I heard what you're saying, but, not my Jesus. We don't. We're going to go in the Bible. Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. I'm going to be honest with you. When I left Christianity, I left on a cold shoulder. I looked at my pastor like I feel violated. I looked at him and the tree he was standing by. I said, come on, man, don't play with me, bro. Don't play with me. Now watch this. These individuals went to theology school. They got all these degrees and everything. And you tell me they skipped this chapter? Read this right quick, God.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you,
okay,
O house of Israel.
See, the thing about it, when you think about theology school, the house of Israel is so-called Blacks, Hispanic, and Native American. Who's running these theology schools is the other nation. Right. So they're not worried about this precept, but they're going to teach it to you in a way that's not going to justify your salvation. But watch this. Read on.
Thus saith the Lord.
Thus saith the Lord. Read.
Learn not the way of the heathen.
Read on.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. For the heathen.
Read.
Are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain.
No profit at all to our salvation. Read.
For one cutteth a tree.
A what?
For one cutteth a tree
Read.
out of the forest the work of the hands of the workmen.
Come on now.
With the axe.
With the what?
With the axe.
So now we dealing with your Christmas tree that you might be sitting by right now. This is in the Bible where the Most High God say, don't do the ways of the heathen. The custom of the heathens are vain. Now, go on. We know now y'all go to Walmart. Y'all don't need the axe. Y'all got that nice plastic one with the little stands. Y'all got a little lazy with the paganism. But read on.
They deck it.
They do what?
They deck it.
Read.
With silver and with gold.
Come on now.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers.
And then, like I said, you upgrade, you got your little stands now. But this is talking about the deity of Christmas. Read on.
That it move not.
Now, I'm a whole verse 5 because I want to go into a little history on it. Give me that letter 3. Talking about the tree. This is what your pastor should have been reading to you at some point. I don't know when Sunday they do. It ain't been so long. They do Sunday school. You don't know what. At some point, your pastor should have been breaking this down. Now let's go into this Christmas tree.
Letter 3. Pagan customs. Christmas trees. After Nimrod's death,
Okay.
the Queen of Heaven decided that a fully grown evergreen tree that grew overnight would enable the survival of Nimrod's spirit.
This is what you have in your house. This is a satanic deity that was done in the Babylonian custom. Nimrod worshipped the sun. But watch it, go ahead.
Every year.
Every what?
Every year. On Nimrod's birthday, she believed Nimrod would visit the tree and so worshipped it by placing gifts.
This is why Big Mama taught you to place gifts up under the tree. This not to Christ. This is to Nimrod. Read.
By placing gifts underneath it for his return.
For his return. Now let's get a little further. We're going to deal with the chimney and the laws and all in there. You know, read that out.
Yule logs. Similarly to the Christmas tree, the Yule log was burned in a fireplace.
Okay.
The day before Nimrod's birthday.
The day before. This is your Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. In preparation for Nimrod's return.
You got a high-level satanic ritual that you're doing, and you don't even know it. You up here drinking egg now thinking that you having a good old time. You setting up a satanic ritual on Christmas Eve. Read on.
So the log was also symbolic for Nimrod.
Come on now.
So with Nimrod being the founder of Babylon, it's no surprise that Satan used him to merge pagan customs with the beliefs of the Church of Jesus Christ. Constantine
that name again.
Knew that if he could deceive Christians and the world, then idolatry would be a lifestyle. God's first few commandments were against the worship of other gods. Yet, Satan has fooled Christians into doing just that.
This is what we're dealing with. I gotta hit him where it hurt, because right now somebody said, "Well, I don't deal with the Christmas tree." Go to the next one, out.
Santa. Saint Nicholas.
Oh, somebody right there. Hold on, wait a minute. Write that out.
Real name Bishop Nicholas of Moria in the Roman Empire was known as the bishop who possessed with the spirit of Poseidon, which came from the god of the sea, also known as Neptune.
Come on now.
As a result, he was able to manipulate nature and do many supernatural things. He would secretly disappear into the night on his white horse and leave gifts.
And he did what?
And leave gifts
Come on now.
in people's homes. But he was linked with the child sacrifices.
Come on now.
That occurred where children would be beaten and burnt alive. This is where the custom comes from where parents are encouraged to put their children on the lap of Santas during the Christmas period. Still want to celebrate Christmas now.
These are things that we share with our people, man. But they continue, and that's why I say Christianity is a hell of a drug. Because when you go into this Bible and get the understanding, go ahead and give me that in Psalms 96. We're going to go to verse 4 and verse 5. We have to realize we have the one true God. Anytime we stray away from our inheritance, we dealing with an idol. We dealing with a false deity. A lot of our people is not going to wake up. A lot of our people is not going to seek that narrow path. But watch this. Psalm 96, and we'll start at verse 4.
The book of Psalms, chapter 96, verse 4. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared.
He is to be what?
He is to be feared above all gods.
So notice what he said. He is to be feared above all gods. We have to realize the other nations have their false deities. But we have to realize this. Read on.
For all the gods of the nations.
Of the what?
Of the nations.
Nothing new upon the sun. For all the gods of the nations, read.
Or idols.
Or what?
Or idols.
Read.
But the Lord made the heavens.
Now let's go back into Jeremiah chapter 10 and jump down to verse 5. Because this is why when they were dealing with Nimrod and when they were dealing with the palm trees at the time, people was fearing it. They were feeling like they didn't give gifts to the tree, things was going to happen. But this is what the Most High God was saying. Now read verse 5.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
But he told her, no matter what deity that you were told, what they call myth you were told, he said they stand upright, but they speak not. Read on.
They must needs be born.
Come on now.
Because they cannot go.
They cannot go. No matter what fable you heard, the Most High was telling these chosen people, lean towards the will of my oracles of the power. Don't get caught up in fables. Read on.
Be not afraid.
He said what?
Be not afraid.
Because this is what they were pushing on our people. They were nervous about this situation. But the Bible say what?
Be not afraid.
Let's see why.
Of them. For they cannot do evil.
So they cannot do evil, read.
Neither also is it in them to do good.
Come on, man. Come on. This is what we have to realize as we continue to build. This is why you have to analyze what is our people going off at. They not actually study to show our self-approval. They going along to get along. Give me that in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14 as we come to a close. Because right now, as we get this understanding, some of our people still gonna say, hey man, I'm gonna do it, man. My family been doing it all these years. But let's see what the Bible says.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
At some point, you have to wake up and make a stand. Or you going to be for the Most High, or you going to be for this world. Read on.
For what fellowship?
What?
For what fellowship
Uh-huh.
had righteousness
Uh-huh.
with unrighteousness?
Come on now.
And what communion had light with darkness?
Read on.
And what concord had Christ with Belial?
Peter was a pagan god. Read.
Or what part had he that believeth with an infidel?
A non-believer. This is what we have to realize. This is what we have, as we come into the understanding, James 4:17 now. Because when it comes to when you realize this, Christmas, another strong delusion. Christ was never in Christmas. Stop trying to put him there. Watch this. Read there for me right quick, God.
The book of James, chapter 1, verse 17. Every good gift.
Now 4:17.
Shlaki. The book of James, chapter 4, verse 17. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good.
Now you come into this understanding. You might didn't know this information at first, but it say to him that what?
To him that knoweth to do good.
Now you have received the understanding that these pagan days that we've been taught over, these what they call holidays that man made, is not of the Most High God. And you notice you have received the understanding of that, read.
And doeth it not.
And you still choose to follow the ways of the world, read.
To him.
To who?
To him.
Read.
It is sin.
It is what?
It is sin.
This is what we have to realize. And we know the wages of sin is death. So as we close out, give me that Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Israel, we hope we gave understanding according to the oracles of the Heavenly Father. We pray that our people come out these pretty much pagan deities before it's too late, because we're going to be judged according to your works. And we're going to bring that out.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Because the conclusion, knowing your nationality, knowing that we in captivity, knowing that we got to get out of captivity by coming back to the Most High God, let's see what the conclusion is.
Fear God.
Do what?
Fear God.
Celebrating Christmas is not fearing the Most High God. Read on.
And keep his commandments.
Read.
For this is the whole duty of man.
Read on.
For God shall bring every work
into
judgment.
Into what?
Into judgment.
Read.
With every secret thing.
With every secret thing.
Whether it be good.
Or
whether it be evil.
And on it, Israel, we're going to say shalom.
Prom dummy.